welcome to another episode of Chat and Craft with Rissa. I'm your host, Rissa, and today I have a special guest with me. Special,
Hi,
wrong way, Rissa. Special guest, Veronica, aka Veronica Streams.
that's me.
It is you. Will you tell the audience who you are and what you do?
I'm Veronica. I have this really nice piece of paper about screenwriting. And I have another paper about gender studies. I haven't hung them up yet. Oopsie. Um, I stream game.
Yeah, you've
I
been streaming quite a few games recently.
Oh yeah, I've been doing this whole thing where I play random games from this big pile of games my mom bought that I don't want.
Oh, yeah, they've just
And
been
most
going
of them
through them.
suck.
Oh no.
Most of them are not good, but that's okay. And Reese is
That's
very thankful because I was thinking about making them speedathon prizes, and no, they're not. And Reese is like, my life would have been so much worse if that had happened.
But first, before we get into anything else,
Oh, see the pile of games. Okay, wait, Reese, if I
wait,
send you the pictures, can you put them on the...
yes, but first,
But first,
tell them what craft you're working on right now.
oh,
And
I'm doing
yes.
my drawing. So, I haven't drawn since 2015, as far as I can remember, which in 2021 I found this picture in my camera roll because I have all of my phone camera roll for the past 10 years saved in external hard drive. And I
Yeah.
came across this picture of a drawing I did of Markiplier because in
Okay.
2015 that's what I was really into.
You know?
Um, and so yeah, I don't know. I really like Gravity Falls, which is significantly less embarrassing than Markiplier. And I don't know, it made me think about drawing again. So
Yeah.
I bought a tablet, and now I'm drawing.
Nice. We love to hear it. Okay, pile of games.
Yeah.
Picture. For
Okay.
anyone wondering, I'm currently doing some support spindling with my bamboo. Rayonized bamboo
Risa let
fiber.
me choose the craft that they were gonna do.
Hmm?
Risa let me choose what craft they were gonna do.
It's true.
I chose spinning. Okay.
Yep.
There's the
Oh, that's a
first set of
lot.
pictures.
Okay.
Um, there's there's two more sets of pictures. Okay, that's the second set of pictures. Um,
Um, Let me just open
here's
these.
the third set of pictures, and then there are also a lot that aren't in these pictures.
Okay.
And yes, the offer stands. If you're not a complete stranger to me and you want these games and you're willing to pay for shipping, you can have them.
You're like, please take these cursed artifacts.
Please.
Oh. But yes, so you've been streaming a bunch of games out of these. And what are you doing this for?
I'm doing it for Gaza because I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Sorry,
are
I'm
you
very succinct tonight.
Hmm?
I'm very succinct tonight.
That's fine. Um with the what so when you're doing that you're raising funds for a specific cause? I mean like a specific
Uh,
organization or
I chose a GoFundMe, but then that one was in Canadian dollars, and so I
uh-huh.
have a backup one,
Okay.
uh, that has like a PayPal link as well. Then that one's in euros, and so I have those two, and then eSIMs
Oh yeah.
and people who um donate to the GoFundMe's and they forward me their receipt email or donate for an eSIM. They get to choose which game to play on stream, depending on how much they donated. If they donate an eSIM, they get free shipping.
Oh.
So yeah, we played a lot of games. Um, God, Mall Tycoon. We can't discuss Mall Tycoon because some very not safe for Risa things happened,
I
which
see.
I wasn't aware that there were supernatural elements in that game,
I
but
also
apparently
was
there
not
are.
aware.
Yeah, some very supernatural things happened in that mall. Um,
That's
which
amazing
um
to me.
I wasn't prepared for. Oh yeah, the tutorial, I couldn't finish it and I thought it was a compatibility issue, but actually I think I was just doing it wrong.
That happens
Um
to the best of us.
so next game roulette stream, uh I'm not sure if I'll play it on my own or if someone's gonna have to pay for it. I haven't decided yet. But yes, Sarah has already claimed several games. Um including Luxury Liner Tycoon, which, as I was installing it, it had this great music, and I couldn't find it in the files anywhere, so I just recorded it in Audacity. It sat there for 3 minutes. But apparently it's from the soundtrack for Sid Meier's Civilization 3.
Oh,
I don't
huh.
understand why it's the install music for Luxury Liner
That's
Tycoon.
fascinating.
Yeah, I I don't understand if it was like made for Civilization 3 or if both of these games just licensed it independently from somewhere else. I don't understand. You know, if you want the Math Blasters and Disney storybooks, you should donate also because I'm gonna have at least one stream on the Windows 98 because I keep running into problems with some of these games on Windows
Yeah.
10. So yeah, no, we've played a lot of awful games. Just terrible, terrible games. But it was for charity. Um, and Fashion Dash was a lot better than I expected.
Let me try and. I don't like just showing you guys my lap, basically, but that's. There's no real way for you to see this.
I'm gonna be honest, I
So,
don't understand how spinning worked, but it sounded the coolest, and it reminded me of Alana, so I chose it.
okay. I did a terrible job explaining spinning during the actual podcast, so here is a better explanation. How does spinning work? So, with spinning, we take loose fiber like wool or cotton. On its own, it is loose and doesn't stay together, it comes right apart. However, when we spin it together, it creates a more durable strand, which this is called a single. We can spin these singles together in what's called plying, and that's what creates yarn. There are different types of spinning based on the different equipment you use. So you can have spindles, which you can have a supported spindle like this, or you can have a suspended spindle like this. Spindles are made up of two parts generally. You have the shaft and you have the whirl. The whirl is a weighted piece. It's usually round and it is there to keep maintain the speed of the spindle. The shaft is this stick part, and this is what you use to create the twist. It determines the speed at which the spindle spins. The narrower, the thinner the shaft, the faster it's going to go. So I have a suspended spindle here, which I use a lot. But what I was using during the podcast was my supported spindle, which I made myself. The whirl I made out of Sculpey. And the shaft is a bamboo stick that I sharpened at either end. And I coated the end of the spindle in resin to help it spin faster. I'm using a bowl. I also made it myself. It is made out of Sculpey, and the inside is also coated with resin. This helps it spin faster and for longer, so I can just twist, and it just spins and spins and spins and spins and spins and spins and spins. So here's how I spin with my supported spindle. So what you do is you spin it until you have all of this pent up energy in the thread. And now I'm going to take my fresh fiber. I'm going to pull it out so that twist is going to go up into that fresh spun, that fresh fiber that has not yet been spun, like this. And pulling out the new fiber is called drafting, which is what I was doing in trying to show you in the actual podcast. So you spin, 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 till you build up all the twist, and then you can pull it, draft out more. That's how you can create more thread. Obviously, spindles are not the only kind of spinning there is. There are also wheels, which come in many different shapes, sizes, and points of origin. And they're all used for different things. And I don't technically have a spinning wheel. I have an electric one, but that's a little different. So I don't have any way to show you guys what that is, and trying to explain it is going to take far too much time. But if you're interested in a more in-depth explanation of spinning wheels and how they work, just let me know and I can make a video of it. Now back to the podcast. And that's how spinning works.
Real easy.
Real easy.
This is, I'm not gonna lie, this might be more difficult and interesting than Andrew's PhD in astrophysics.
It doesn't require as much knowing actually how things work. I know how things work because I'm Rissa and I have to look things up.
Rissa knows how everything works.
I don't. I try though. But
Untrue.
if I am like starting a new hobby, if I can't tell myself how it all works, then I'm like, well, I need to look more things up. I'm doing an interesting drafting method that's a little more technically more advanced. Because of I'm using the rayonized bamboo fiber, and it is very slippery because wool itself, like wool from any animal pretty much, has crimp to it, so curls. It's got the kinky curls basically. So that when you're trying to spin it together means that it catches on itself, which is good because then when you're trying to spin it, you can just, you don't have to worry about it like all sliding apart. Well, rayonized fibers, especially rayonized bamboo, don't have any kind of crimp to them. So instead, you get really, really slippy fiber, which is why I have been doing this on the support spindle, because otherwise it was driving me insane. Yes, so it's called drafting from the fold, and it is just, I'm just being so very extra about this entire thing. But you might be asking, Rissa, what are you going to make with this yarn that you're spinning by hand? Well,
Gloves.
it's I'm crocheting a little pouch to go with my purse with all my meds in it.
Oh! So functional.
Very functional.
So practical.
Yeah, I try to be. What are you drawing right now?
I realized I need to warm up, and so I drew some squares, and now I'm drawing some triangles. Lately, I'm very into triangles.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I
Perhaps
was gonna screen
associated
share.
with. Yeah, you can screen share. I didn't want to make
Gravity
you.
balls.
I didn't want to make you feel like you had to.
Also, don't make fun of me because I'm bad at drawing.
No one is going. If anyone in my chat makes fun of anyone, that's for doing literally anything, but especially for doing like art. I will be not pleased.
You will bring Rissa's wrath upon you.
It's true, I will.
I'm trying to redraw this screenshot from Abbott Elementary. And well, drawing people or anything really for the first time in 10 years. Well, it's kind of hard.
Drawing is hard, yeah. But the
And
hardest part of drawing is starting.
okay, for everyone, I will draw you a triangle. I'm not great at drawing him, but he's easy to draw. E. No, I'm trying to do a good job this time. Oh my god.
There we go.
It is relative.
Now you guys can see it.
E. Boo, 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 boo. E. Boo, boo. This isn't my very first time drawing. Oh my god. This isn't my very first time drawing with the tablet. Uh, but I didn't have a whole lot of experience before, and the 10-year hiatus didn't help.
Yeah. And it's very hard to get used to a triangle. I'm not
Oh,
a triangle, a tablet when you've done like actual drawing and stuff because they have um very different skill sets, I would say.
and
Yeah.
I chose this brush because it had thin lines. And the pressure sensitivity doesn't make the lines thick, it makes them bolder, which I
Okay.
appreciate.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. So it deals with the opacity instead of the size.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the triangle. It's a terrible rendition, but that's him.
I mean,
Um,
everyone knew it was him, so I would say
no one
job
knew it
well
was
done.
him. The everything about drawing him sucks except his little feetsies. Cause well, you just go like this, and it's like wow, there it is. Okay,
There he is.
okay,
Sure was
all right.
an evil
Now
triangle.
here's my attempt, and see, there was other stuff here, like legs and a whole other person, but I didn't like them, so I deleted them. So now we're trying to. Okay, yeah, I like this. This it's only on screen for like 2 seconds, but the new season premiere of Abbott Elementary has this little scene where they're playing chess in the park, but it's like giant. And I looked it up, and Quinta Brunson is only 4'11".
Oh gosh.
And so, yeah, the chess pieces are like almost as tall as she is. And I thought it was really cute. Her picking it up with her whole body and trying to move it. And so I'm trying to draw that. Except, well, drawing is hard.
Drawing is
So
hard.
I'm trying to work on my pose. Before I actually try to make the line art not as miserable as it is. And her legs were like this before. But that sucked ass. So
Hmm.
we're doing something else?
I'm just, you have a lot of like gesture. There's definite movement, and it's not a very static image. And so you're portraying that really well so far.
Thanks.
Like, she's she's hefting.
She's hefting. I like tablet drawing because it was not like this before. It was like this. And then I was like, no, this sucks. And I just used a little circle tool. And I forgot where it was. There. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
except I keep accidentally selecting like a little square, and then I keep wondering why the brush isn't doing anything. Um, So yes. And also, when I put my pen tip down, it's a pen. But when I put the eraser tip down, it's an eraser. And I broke that earlier, but Van helped me fix it. I don't know how. Um, Van told me some stuff and then it fixed itself.
Yeah, that
Um,
sounds about right.
yeah.
The teacher effect.
So, yeah. So the post sucked before, and I'm trying to make it more cool, more dynamic. It was just like, bleh. And it's like, no. It's gonna be like, woof.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So that's where
Yeah.
I'm at.
I mean, it's looking good,
Thanks.
especially since you're just sketching it out right now.
Yeah.
Um, I always recommend, like, my biggest tip for tablet drawing is when you are doing your sketch for your whatever it is you're drawing or going to paint or whatever, do it in another color. Don't do it in black. Do it in like pink or
Mm,
blue so that
mm,
you can like set it to low opacity later and then do your actual
mm,
um, line work over on another layer,
mm,
and you can see like the difference between the pink or and your black. You know what I mean? Because I always do blue.
yeah. Is there a way to change it without redrawing the whole ass thing? I feel
I
like there
mean,
must be.
I don't know Krita, but I would say you could probably, I mean, doesn't really matter with this one.
Mm,
You can always just like do it on an underlayer underneath what you've already done and just do like
mm.
big broad sketch for it, not worrying about if it's perfect or not. And I know that's the hard part. Now I'm going to do the
Mm.
weirdly. Oh, it has. You should be able to colorize the layer, and it'll change the color. Might be asking yourself.
Color. Oh, what? What? I don't know what that did, but it did something. Okay. Blue. No, that didn't do it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
then yeah, you don't have to do it with this
I'm gonna
one.
have to
That's my
look up actual
future future advice.
future advice.
But yes, especially if it's a color you like, because then it'll make you happy. So if your favorite color is green, then doing your sketches in green can help you feel just a little more positive about it. Yes, that's why all of my sketches are in blue. Very specifically, I have a color 0066CC. That is my hex color. Been using that color as like my signifier since 2010.
Her legs are so much longer than her torso.
Yeah,
Kind
I
of
get
wild
that.
to me. I'm just looking at the picture, and her legs really are longer than her torso. Which, to be fair, I think she's wearing heels, so that does
Yeah.
impact it. Um, Probably just make her torso long. It's usually how these things work.
Moved all of my temporary stuff down to the thing and have started again at the top. That's what's fun about doing this. But now I sadly have to prepare more fiber because that's all I had left of the staples that I'd done. But that's easy to separate things into the. When I say staple, I mean like the length of the actual fibers themselves is the staple length. I mean, it's the staple, and then the length of that varies by different types of um, fiber. So some yarns have, some fibers have a pretty long staple length. This rayonized bamboo it's pretty long. It's about 3 inches, 2.5, 3 inches. Some yarns are like cotton has a very small staple length, which is why it's so difficult to spin with, especially with drop spindles. Um, but why some fibers are more recommended for beginners than other fibers. Just because having a longer staple length can make it easier. It could also make it harder, depending. Like silk has a really long staple length, and it's part of why silk is so irritating to spin. I don't really, I don't like silk like as a thing. It's kind of a, to me, such a bleh, you know. It's the fact that we just like raise these bugs and then kill them. I don't know. I don't know what it is about it. I I I just don't really like it. But I have
That is not
recycled
vegan.
silk. I have recycled silk from Sari's. It's recycled Sari silk. Um, and it's really cool because then instead of it being like you're buying silk that someone like that has been purposefully made for what you're doing, instead you're using stuff that was being wasted. Um, it was just part of a byproduct of the Sari manufacturing, whatchamacallit, industry. And so that I feel okay about using. Because I'm like, okay, it was going to be wasted, so I'd rather it not be wasted. But silk has really long staple length. It's like really long, which can be very irritating when spinning because sometimes if the twist goes up into what you don't want there to be twist in, ugh, is a nightmare. Not nightmare, but it is irritating. Now, I'm going to be real with you guys. I am in quite a bit of pain, and
What way?
not sure how much longer this episode is going to be, but I would like to be a little bit longer because I'm enjoying just sitting and talking with you, Veronica,
Yes.
and watching you draw. Oh, I can zoom out a little, see more of your draw.
I think it's better with the bent leg. I was trying to keep like straight legs like the screenshot, but I don't think that's working.
Yeah, I mean, whichever one looks best to you. Like Rissa, that's not helpful. Which, yeah,
I mean, it is, but it isn't. But like it is, but like it isn't.
yeah, yeah. I understand. That's
But
just,
also, it's very validating. You said you liked my Markiplier.
yeah. I'm just saying that you are starting at like a non-zero, you know what I mean? Like you already have some experience with drawing. So yeah, tablet's different, but you're already you're already starting ahead of the game
That's true.
because you have already started understanding uh like the it's really hard to go from visualization to representation. And sometimes that can make drawing really hard for people. They have a hard time being able to represent what they're seeing. But you're already doing that, so
Yeah, that's weird. I wasn't expecting to. I don't know. It feels kind of the same. Like I don't know. I was sketching stuff and I was like, yeah, that's my drawing. That's what my drawings look
Yeah.
I don't know, kind of weird. You know what? You know what I just realized?
What?
Unlike high school, you guys don't think of me as someone who can't draw.
No.
Uh, which is kind of wild.
I am not going to lie to you. I have
Okay.
never taken an art class in my life.
I took
Other than like
drawing back
elementary
when I was
school.
an engineering major, and I had a pretty bad time.
Oh
I cried
no.
in the class, which was very normal for me in all my engineering classes.
Oh
Um,
no.
which pro tip, if your classes make you feel that way, change your major.
That is a good tip. That's a very good tip. Oh, yeah.
Mm,
I have to agree with that.
I
I'll
haven't
also say
even.
that if your job is making you cry every day, it's time to explore different options.
The feet are bad. Listen, ignore the feet. Don't
Feet
look at them.
are, yeah, it's also all sketch, so
Yeah, I haven't tech. That's one thing I always did in high school. I never wanted to draw the feet or hands. I would just ignore them.
yeah, I think that's a pretty common thing people do. Um,
Yeah.
I just remember all of the pictures that I would draw of people putting their hands in their pockets or behind their back.
Oh, the
And then
classic tumbling move.
it would just cut off like above their feet.
And for all 1.5 of you who saw my Markiplier drawing, it cuts off suddenly at the wrists and ankles. Okay, I feel better about
It's
this pose. Because when it was just like two leggies, I was like, no. I feel a little bit better. This
yeah,
is the height of the chess piece.
yeah,
And I had Gregory. But I erased him because I originally wanted him, I mean, facing forward, like get his like face and stuff, but like it doesn't make sense. Why would he
yeah.
not look at her?
Get that.
Yeah, so mm, also her thighs are not that long.
Mm. Yeah, that's always the hard part because everyone has such different proportions. So,
Yeah.
like, even if you think, wow, yeah, this is generally what it is, but then, like you said, she's so short, her proportions are going to be different. What has been up with you recently? What are you
Um,
up to? Other than we know that you've been streaming for Gaza,
yeah. Um,
which we love.
oh,
Are
I
there
applied to
any
some
hmm?
Gravity Falls fan things.
Oh yeah.
Um, which should I talk about the email I sent to Julian Baumgartner?
You sure can.
Um, oh man.
I feel free.
Yeah, no, his recent video,
Okay, first,
the guy,
just for the people who don't know who that is, he is an art restoration guy on YouTube, who specifically works with older paintings for the most part, helping repair any kind, like clean them up, repair their like any damage to them and stuff. But other than that, now you can start. Now that they may,
that painting had a slave owner in it, probably.
yeah,
And it's all, which, okay, I gotta paint the whole picture. You can't just say that.
okay,
So, client comes in to talk about the painting, and he's like, yeah, so I live in Miami. My family's from Cuba. they escaped the communist revolution in the 1960s. That's the first red flag.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, his family never talked about their life in Cuba. That's another red flag.
Yeah.
And then um he asked his grandma when he was an adult, and she finally told him a little bit. And she was like, "Oh, our family is originally from France, and they were from like." She made this like he apparently she she made this motion with like her pinky up, like you're drinking tea.
Hmm.
Uh, that's to describe how they were in France, like they were like high up or like upper class or whatever. So that's like the third red flag.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, no, my apparently our family owned a coffee plantation in Cuba. That's
Hmm.
not even a red flag at that point. That's the whole shebang.
Yep.
And then later he talks about how apparently his family only came to Cuba because they had escaped the French Revolution in France. And I was
Wow.
like,
Oh
okay,
for 2.
0 for 2. One of the comments was like, "What's up with this guy's family where every time there's a revolution, they have to escape?" Um, so yeah, no, and the video's like, "Oh man, it's so sweet that this guy is doing so much to regain his family history that was lost." And I'm like, "It wasn't lost, it was buried, and I can almost certainly tell you why it was buried, and his ancestors
Yeah.
don't want to talk about it." And now,
Yeah.
even though even though they allegedly left Cuba with nothing but the clothes on their backs, he still has money to travel to France constantly from Miami and buy fine art of his ancestors and pay to have that art restored.
Apparently, and that's
Um,
that is an expensive service.
mhm, mhm.
It's very
So
time
yeah,
intensive.
I
So you
sent an
sent,
email.
yep, you sent him the email.
I sent him an email, info@bfar.com. And yeah, my roommate said don't expect a reply or anything.
Yeah.
So I'm not expecting anything.
I actually stopped watching his videos a few months ago
Ooh,
because he started doing some really sketchy sponsorships.
ooh.
Um,
Uh I have an extension that skips all sponsorships, so I have not seen anything.
um, yeah, so he took a sponsorship deal. I don't think he's done BetterHelp. That's the one where if I see someone do a
Mm-hmm.
sponsor for BetterHelp, I am immediately unfollowing them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I unsubscribed from Rachel Maxey because she did a BetterHelp ad. I'm like, I don't think that's. I just can't excuse that. There's so much info out there
Mm-hmm.
about it, but
Mm-hmm.
Baumgartner was doing stuff that were just obvious scams, like you can buy a plot of land in the UK and technically then become like Sir something or a Duke or whatever it is,
I remember that
and it
one.
yeah, I'm like, it's just a scam. That just scams people out of money. That's not
Buy this piece of
that's
paper.
yeah, and that's really shitty to me, right? Is that I understand that like yes, Sealand. But god, they make me so like Ariana and I get sponsorship offers from a lot of things for
Uh-huh.
our Twitch, and I can't imagine taking some of those because I know that they are like predatory phone games. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to, I cannot myself
Is
in
that why
good
people like Raid
conscience.
Shadow Legends? I've
Yeah,
never played Raid Shadow Legends.
I think Raid Shadow Legends is a it's a free to play technically. And that's the thing. Most of these mobile games are free to play, but the streamers and video creators are incentivized to get um their audience to spend money on these games because that's part of the conditions of like how you make the money from it. Um, so yeah, exactly what Dr. Ray Ray's saying. These free to play mobile games have always had ludicrously high requirements in order to pay out. So like in all transparency, when we took that HelloFresh sponsorship a few years ago, I was
Oh,
able to
you-
make
oh man.
$600 from it. I made
Ooh.
$600 from that sponsorship, which was irritating because it meant I had to file taxes through Stream Elements as well. Which was very
Oh,
irritating
no.
because once you hit $600, that's but that's because the only thing I was being that all I was having to get were for the money was for followers to do their like a new subscriber to create an account and buy the box with my code. Some of these other things are like, and it's really really sketchy to me because um it'll be like, yeah, you want to get this many players to get a free account and you want this many players to spend $10 in the game, or like spent like you want them to reach level 50 or something like that. And a lot of these things, the only
Many.
way you can get that from them is if they pay for it, because a first time player is not going to get to level 50 in any kind of time period that helps you unless they spend money on it. So that is incentivizes streamers to kind of screw over their audience because it's in their best interest to, scam them. And that sucks.
People really do that? Scam people in video games?
Yeah, I know, right? It's more likely than you think. But yeah, so that's why I stopped. A bunch of sponsorship things make me really mad because it's like, you know, it's not hard to not take the shitty ones. I do it all the time.
Stream Element shows me so many, and I'm like,
I know,
I
right?
don't know
Isn't
what
it
these
so
are.
funny?
You want all one of my subscribers who only care about games made before 1999 to
Yeah.
play Raid
It's
Shadow Legends?
like, no. That's not gonna happen. Yeah, like also my like my audience would not be spending money on a mobile game. I'm sorry, but like we all old. we we're
Absolutely.
all we're all in our 30s, some 40s. You're almost at that
Absolutely.
30 mark, aren't you, Veronica?
I'm almost 29.
Yeah.
How will I get married in the next year? Oh,
You must be married before 30?
my womb.
Oh, of course. Ugh. So, just for people to know, this is the cop, which is where the yarn is. This is the temporary
Stop.
cop. Cop, cob, cop. It's a yeah, the thing. Not a police, not a police, a cop. And then that's the temporary. And so now what I'm having to do is I'm having to unwind the temporary one so I can put it on the stable one. But this spindle is getting quite full. Means it'll be time to just take it off of the spindle and ply it. And plying. So this is technically not yarn, it's a single. A
Single. Ugh,
single is
disgusting.
just a single strand. Whereas once you put multiple of these singles together, that's how you get yarn or thread, depending on how thick it is. Um, and when you put the singles together, that's called plying.
Oh my
So
gosh.
everyone's getting to learn far more about spinning than they probably care to know. But, that's.
Why did they come to CurlmeisterSisters.com if they didn't want to learn spinning?
To be fair, people did ask. And by people, I mean you vaguely
Yes.
said you didn't know how spinning worked.
I was like,
Um,
Risa was like, well, I could do I could do spinning or 50 crochet projects, and I waited very patiently. I was like, I learned in elementary school not to interrupt, and I'm not great at it still, 29 years later, but I'm not going to interrupt Risa while they go through their list of every crochet project. But I'm waiting for my opportunity to say, let's do spinning.
yeah, I was spinning my on my electric spinning wheel earlier because it's faster and I have an entire pound of alpaca fiber, as I told everyone on the last episode. So I've been blending the alpaca with a recycled wool that I got off Etsy, which is really nice. And so I've been. Let me grab the sample. Um, so the recycled wool is this nice green, like seaweed green color. So here's what my swatch. I'm leaving like parts of the green. I'm not like fully blending them together because I want it to have that kind of like varied look to it. Um, and so with this, I'm going to knit Dr. Husband a sweater.
Tasty seaweed.
And it's so soft because it's alpaca, and alpaca is so soft. So I'm just like,
Mhm.
oh, so soft. But
Absolutely.
and I have the leftovers of this as my sample spin of the yarn. And this was before I really got the hang of spinning this fiber, so you got some really thick bits and some really thin
Hey, you know what they
bits.
say? They love a thick bitch.
It's so true. So
So
true. We love a thick bitch. That's the Curlmeister sisters stance. We love a thick bitch. Okay, so my body is betraying me. So I think it's probably time to end. So, Veronica, where can
it's
people find you?
Veronica_stream.
I have Veronica underscore streams on Twitch. Do you want to plug anything else?
Uh, no, no, yeah.
Okay.
You won't see me drawing again ever. I don't know
Unless you're
about that.
back on here,
Unless I'm back on here.
which,
This is like a mini episode. You got a little.
to be fair, an entire hour isn't exactly mini.
That's true.
To be
Ariana
fair.
did get two, but I guess she is your sister.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And and to be fair, I cut a lot of the stuff out of the edited version. Because there were whole stretches where we were just like talking about family stuff, and I was like, no, I don't need to have this in the public version. But if you're on
but yeah,
Patreon, you get access to the first with this chat and craft with Risa. Patreon patrons have access to the episodes several days before they go live on our YouTube. So if you're ever like,
whoa.
I need
Hey,
to
that's
know,
me. I'm a Patreon.
it's true. You are a patron on Patreon.
I'm gonna
So,
appear in the outro screen.
ah, in the
I need to
outro.
start posting pictures of your cats again.
You're right. I do have to start posting pictures of my cats again.
Oh no, I have to.
You have to?
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
It used to be every time Risa would DM the group chat a picture of cats, I would always put it in the patrons channel.
It's true. And also, yes to people who said my hair looked nice today. Thank you. I've been trying something different with how I do it, and it has been such an like I'm so happy with my new routine because I'm getting these tiny like these really really tight curls. Very pencil curls. But yeah, so that was Chat and Craft with Risa and Veronica. So I will be linking everything for Veronica in the description of the YouTube video. And have anything else to add?
How the fuck do I put this leg?
I mean, that looks good.
Okay. It has Risa's approval.
Okay, love you guys. Bye bye.